I'm Orlando Jones, and I just want you to know that the Moana Nui podcast will be starting soon. Stay tuned, yo.
I'm Veronica Taylor. I'm from myself and Ash Ketchum. I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
Aloha mai kako, everyone. Welcome to the Moana Nui podcast. Tonight's episode, we are discussing Indigenous people versus capitalism. Should Lahaina be reopened to tourism? And I really wanted to do this particular episode tonight because we are closely coming up on the 2-month mark from when the fires hit the island of Maui, and more specifically, the town of Lahaina. And as with a lot of catastrophes and things that impact our Indigenous communities, these issues only see national media for a little while, and then they go away. And then, of course, out of sight, out of mind, and people go on with their lives, and we think that everything's okay, or maybe we don't, but it's not at the forefront. So here, on the Moana Nui podcast, it is our kuleana to look out for our Kanaka community, regardless of where we are. And of course, this is still an issue and a topic that is very deeply felt for our ohana. So first, number one, to our Maui ohana and our community there, we love you guys. You are in our thoughts all the time. And, if there's ways that we can help you, please reach out to us here on the podcast. And if you would like to even give your own voice and, come on the show, I know most people on Hawaii style, they don't like, but if, even if you want to just send us a note and let us know how you're doing, how we can contact you and reach out and just check on you, or even talk about, your mana'o on your behalf. We don't have to credit you or anything or, associate it with you, so you can stay anonymous if you like. But just wanted to put that kahea out that if you know anybody who could use another platform to kind of just raise the issues, please reach out to us, because we are here for you guys, and let us be your sounding board for you and your ohana. So with that said, in case you're not tracking, we're here at the 2-month mark. As of Sunday, October 8th, Governor Green, city of whatever, county of Maui, is reopening tourism in Lahaina. And so if you're not familiar with how this works, you might be like, okay, yeah, so what? Well, the so what is that there's thousands of families that are displaced. And in the 2 months since it all happened, they have been placed. Some of them have been placed, a lot of them still not placed, but they're in the hotels and the Airbnbs and the condominiums that are in that area. So if they bring tourism back, guess what? All these families are getting displaced again. They have not healed. There are mental health issues. There are suicide issues. There's a whole ton of really difficult issues that our community is still trying to work through. Forget trying to entertain and cater to tourists. This is not the place for it. And especially not Lahaina. The rest of the island is open. Please go over there and support our economy over there. But anyway, so I'm going to get off my soapbox, because I have a wonderful team here. And I just thought it'd be good for all of us here, Moana Nui family, and some of our extended ohana supporting Ho'akamana, to come on and just talk story, talk about the realness, and really get some testimonies from people who have actually been on the ground helping, and helping you all to understand like how you can still help, because we still need the help. If you look on your screen, check below. Where is my there? Sorry, this way right here. If you scan the QR code, you can go to hoakamana.org, and that is the nonprofit organization, Native Hawaiian owned, operated, 100% aloha. There's no overhead fees. All of the money that gets donated is going to these projects to help the Maui Ohana. So if you go there, please check that out. And if you can find it in your means to do it, great. And if not, please help us share it, because whether it's you or someone in your network, you never know. We have, just think about the people that you know. I've been able to bring some business and corporate sponsorships. So, you never know until you ask. So just, it would be grateful for all of us to help share that. Okay, so let me bring on my sisters and my brother to join us here on the podcast. First, Jazzy. Jazzy is our creative director, and she's also a photographer, a mom, and a spiritualist. Always welcome to have her in our Ohana on our show. She just brings a great perspective to our team. So mahalo, Jazzy, for joining us. Tita Pawahi, you guys have seen her if you have watched our show before. She has been on a number of panels for us, but she's out there working on her PhD, really digging into some of the tough issues for Kanaka in the diaspora, the mental health effects, and so much more. She's over there living in Canada, and we're so proud and excited for all that she's doing. And then last but certainly not least, Brother Aaron Kaho'one, who is our Ohana in Arizona, and he is part of our Malama Maui team, helping with Ho'akamana. So I'm really excited to talk story with you guys. This is something that we in our community are talking a lot about, but to share your perspectives with others who don't understand our community as much, or maybe have not been tracking the issues and what's going on. So welcome everybody. Let's see, who wants to go first? Let's see. First of all, you know what? Let's just go with the basics, right? Like, okay, so we're talking about reopening Lahaina on Sunday. What are your thoughts on that? Whoever wants to talk about it first.
I'll chime in first.
Okay.
So I feel, one, that reopening something so soon when so many are still struggling, I know that the mainstream media doesn't showcase what's current, what's really going on. If it wasn't for the local platforms that are on social media, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, those are the platforms that I have, but it's through TikTok. I still on the daily basis have people sending me videos from TikTok, from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube videos. It's daily. People are just like, Jazzy, have you seen this? Jazzy, have you seen that? Do you know about this? And then working with Ho'akamana, we have personal testimony for those who are literally living right down the road in the next town and actively helping, actively there to malama those families. And when so many people who do live here in the continent or live, in other countries reach out to me and they're just like, is this true? Yes. So hearing that they're trying to open it just a little over like the day, of 2 months, it's like, but why? And I actually shared a post on my own Facebook and Instagram today where it said, nobody really cares until it's you. And I've always been raised, it's my Kanaka roots. It's been embedded in me so deeply that you need to love others and care for others the way that you would like to be cared for, treat others the way you want to be treated. And there's no way 2 months for most people, okay, that's 8 weeks, but for them it feels like years when it comes to how much they're suffering, and at the same time it feels like an hour when it comes to what's next, because they're not yeah, they want a house, they want to get all their things back, but I believe right now that their daily struggle and their daily what's next is when do I get to eat next? Am I going to get am I going to be able to get water? Am I going to be able to get help? Is today the day that I get to not sleep on this cot? Is today the day that this place that's been sheltering me going to tell me to go? Like they're literally living in constant PTSD. And it's just going and going and going. And when you have that heightened panic of all the time, it just drains the body, and the soul too. I mean, I wish I could go home and get my feet there and be with everybody at the same time. It's my heart really does go out to them, because locally here, there's tornadoes, and I've seen the families, I've seen people, and yeah, that's not something that just goes away in 2 months, So I understand the economy, I understand the logistics, the politics, all the mundane, but I feel like, where's the people in that? That's where I stand, and the last time we did a podcast about tourism, and I was very compassionate of being neutral. Like, I saw this side and I saw this side, but with this topic, I'm very just, the people come first. The people have to come first. And I know Pauahi has something that can roll right off of it, so I'm gonna hand it to her.
Mahalo, Jazzy. Yeah, I kind of thought about, how I would frame the question, should Lahaina be open to tourism? And I think there's a lot of discourse in that, right? Because you see community members who are saying, yes, come to Maui, just don't come to Lahaina. And then you're having people say, yes, come to Lahaina, right? So there's just a lot of discourse around, like, who gets to say who can open up Lahaina, right? And so, like, everybody here probably knows on this panel, maybe with the exception of Aaron, knows that I would say no, don't open it back up. But I'm also not from Maui. So genealogically, yes, but right now, like, I'm not from Maui. So yeah, it just kind of makes me think of that discourse that comes along with the conversations like this, right? Who has the say to actually say yes to open it back up? I think the problem that we're facing here, though, is, we're seeing the same reels for everybody that has social media. It doesn't matter if it's coming from Instagram reels, if it's being, on Facebook, Facebook and Instagram kind of carry over to each other. And then you have TikTok and all of these other social medias, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. But we're all seeing the same kind of like reels, and we're seeing the same, videos that are being played. And I think the ones that stand out to me the most are the people who are like, one uncle I saw the other day, and he was like, I'm paying my mortgage and I'm paying rent for this place that I'm renting. But now I got to leave this place that I'm renting because of A, B, C, and D. So, like, where am I supposed to go with all of my ohana? And I think the problem is, when we speak from an ohana perspective now, it's not just 2, 3, 4 people, right? It's 15, 16, 17 people in one house. And I think people don't understand or can even conceptualize that, right? Until, like you said, if you've never been in this situation before, then you don't know, right? Or if you've never been part of these kinds of efforts, then you don't know. And I can't say for sure, but I imagine on the continent, maybe one community or 2 communities can think about what it would be like to live with 16 or 17 family members in one house. But for the most part, most people don't have to do that, So just kind of thinking about all of that, I always have to brush on the fact that, though, there's this narrative, right? This colonial narrative that is always pushed, that Hawaii needs tourism for economic stability. Perhaps this is true for today, for the most part, but is not historically true, right? And I think that's where people fail to realize, we come, like we can sit here and say we come from, voyagers. We come from people who grow their own food. We come from a community who, like, we knew what the water did. We knew how to plant. We knew what, plants could work, we could eat, and which ones we could not. We knew our water systems. Like, we knew all of these things. So it wasn't until, the sugarcane plantation and all these kind of guys, these developers came, that people started to get that narrative and that framework that was changed. The plantation eras, and like, yes, we need to commodify, Hawaii, or we need to sell this, or we need to sell that, or trade, or whatever. And so it was when these institutions came in, and these colonial structures, and then Americanization, right? So like with all of this happening, then people are like, oh yeah, we need tourism for economic stability, when that is not necessarily always the true case. I think it has become a true case. But do I think if let's just say all the technology died tomorrow, do I think our people would be sustainable? Do I think that our people would know what to do? Absolutely. Do I think fish ponds and salt ponds and, all these kind of things can be grown again? Yes, I absolutely believe it could happen. And so I think that we should stop and kind of think about the narratives that are being pushed, even within our own community, right? Even from Kanaka, who are like, oh yeah, no, we need this. Because I get it all the time. People tell me all the time, like, I'll put something up, which is why I don't post very much anymore, but I'll put something up and I'll get a DM. Oh, we need this, we need that. But for somebody who studies this stuff, like, it's there's like this false dichotomy that is driven for people to believe this narrative that isn't necessarily true. So yeah, I mean, I just think when we think about, like, should Lahaina be open to tourists, capitalism, and then Indigenous people in general, I think it goes back to what you were saying, Jazzy. It has to be people over profit. Because at the end of the day, like you said, there's PTSD, but there's so much more than that. Because at the end of the day, the only people who are suffering capitalistically, capitalism and economically, or people are still in shock. They haven't even reached PTSD yet because they're still in shock, right? So imagine having to just keep going and not realizing how your body is embodying all of this stuff that's going on, right? You don't even have time to sit there and think about it because you have this insurance company or this bill collector, like you don't even know what's going on half the time. So I think at the end of the day, that's what really matters, is that the only people who are being really affected by this are the people who have been affected by this, right? And so even for us on the continent or in the Turtle Island, just like the whole, like, we can't even conceptualize it until we get there, And so that doesn't mean we don't have the feelings. It doesn't mean that their pain isn't our pain, because, we can see through the screen. We can watch the stuff. It's heartbreaking. Like, that's our people, and yeah, they're going through shock and stuff like that. We're going through the same kind of things that they're going through because of this generational kind of thing that we have going on. It's embedded in our bodies, right? And so being products and victims of this colonial production is something that we're always going to have to push through. But at some point, somebody has to say, what about the people? It has to be people over profit every single time. Because right now, the people that are suffering are the people who lost everything, and they will continue to suffer until somebody can do something for them. Yeah, you can get all the materialistic things back that you want, but it's not like what you remember. You want your house back. You want those feelings back. You want those memories back. You don't have pictures. And I mean, I could talk about it all day, but no, I don't think that they should reopen Lahaina. But again, it's not for me to say, I'm not from Lahaina. So if Lahaina wants to open back up, then yes. But I think it's always good to understand that there's always going to be a discourse. So while one Kanaka may say no and one Kanaka may say yes, Nobody's wrong, right? Both people should be uplifted in however they feel, you know? So I know Aaron's been on the ground, and Mike can add some more to what I was saying. But mahalo.
Yeah, before Aaron jumps in, I just want to add some context to what Pawahi just said in terms of like the voices of Lahaina. There was a petition that went around of the Lahaina community, and there was 14,000 people who signed that petition out of Lahaina community. So I think that the message is clear about their view on this. Even in the community meetings, right? Like, I can't remember the guy's name. I see his face, he get curly hair, good looking brother. But he was essentially saying like, the question he had asked was like, oh, let me ask, like, how many people have been talked to about whether or not they wanna reopen Lahaina? I don't even have to turn around. I know how much hands get behind there. Nothing. And so, he's like, but let me ask though, like, how many people wanna stop reopening Lahaina on October 8th? And I swear almost every hand in that room went up. So it doesn't take a genius. But again, like, if you're not focused in on these issues, you're not seeing this. And it's very easy to believe that other narrative of tourism, and all of that stuff. But yeah, so I want to pass to Aaron, because Aaron was actually on the ground doing the work in Honokawai, which is one of the big hubs. And he shared some of his stories with us in our weekly meeting earlier this week. And I think it adds very valuable context to like understand what is going on. And like when you do help, like the help that we are giving, how it's being received by the community. So mahalo, Aaron, for coming on and being that voice to amplify our Maui ohana.
Oh no, mahalo for you guys having me on here. Yeah, so I went to obviously I was just like everybody else when this went down now, because I'm a firefighter, so I like to be like in the middle of everything. So when this whole thing went down, I was like everybody else. I was trying to find a way to get over there to help and do what I can do. But I did see also that there was a lot of help and a lot of confusion going on. And sometimes, at least in firefighting, I understand that like sometimes too much help can be a bad thing. Yeah. It can cause a lot of confusion. And because so much was going on, I thought it'd be best for me to wait, especially since I'm not from there and I wasn't invited. Yeah. So I did reach out to some people, but some leaders out there, but they were just too busy to respond, probably, because I'm sure I wasn't the only one trying to figure out like, if they needed help and if they wanted the kind of help that I could provide. So I kind of just waited, watched social media, like what was going on, watched the news. The news didn't seem to line up with what was actually going up on the ground. And I never really realized that completely until I got there. But it's real. Like the devastation there is completely real. The emotions there is completely real with the people. So I chose to kind of wait, like I said, kind of for like the second wave. So I know like when things happen, a lot of people show up, and then as time goes on, help stops coming in. I just understand that from the kind of work that I do. So as soon as I seen that people was starting to, because people was getting tired now, the people from outer islands, from the help that they was getting, and especially in the beginning, because a lot of things was unorganized, yeah, because people thought they was going to get help from the state, from National Guard, and the help never come. Yeah, the guys was, at least what I was told, was nobody came in for almost a week, or at least a week, no help. So I hooked up with Uncle John Kinimaka. So he's a po'o down at Pu'uhonua o Honokawai. And he told me that he just set up, like, he didn't have any plan. He thought that help was coming. So he set up a tent down at Honokawai. He only had like a couple cases of water there. And he was like looking around, just, hoping that help was going to come. and supplies was gonna come in, and nothing ever came. No help ever came, and then people just started showing up with donations, and then it just kind of grew from there. And now there's tons of stuff there. But I went down there around mid-September when I saw there was kind of like a kahea went out for like a second wave of people for come help. Yeah, so I kind of go down to Big Island every month because I kuleana some land that we have up there as a family that we want to eventually move back to. So while I was there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna stop by. I pretty much went there, got all the work I needed done in a day, and then boom, I went straight to Maui. I went over to the hubs over there. I kind of, because I didn't know where I was gonna go yet, so I kind of just went to the area. I went to maybe like 4 different hubs. One was in Ka'anapali, one was up kind of Lahaina Luna, up underneath the high school. I saw the Honokowai one, and then I think there was one in Napili. And then I ended up just walking to the Honokowai one and started talking to someone over there. And then that's when I met John, Uncle John Kinimaka. And then I just started helping that day. And I can tell like the grieving is like in the thick of it right now, because I think it was the day we were on that meeting, and I was trying to listen in on the meeting. I had one of my headphones and I couldn't even, like, he was literally going through his whole story for like almost 2 hours straight, and I think that's part of their grieving, is to talk about it. Yeah, because it's not just him. It was like I heard all kind of people that were driving through. A lot of conversations going on. I didn't once hear a conversation that anyone was ready for tourism to come back. Not one. So he went through his whole story, and it was I mean, it was real as it could get. I mean, I don't want to say any details, but he saw a lot of stuff that like kids probably saw, so people are they're still grieving, and you don't hear about you don't really hear about suicides that go on over there, but they've been going on for, I think the first ones I heard about was about a month ago. Yeah. So, and there's, who knows how much there's been since then. You don't see that on the news. I don't know if that's taken into account or into consideration when these leaders, supposed leaders, make all these plans to bring things back into Lahaina, or even in West Maui in general. But it's not ready for that kind of stuff. And even when I was there, I saw tourists there, and they're all doing the same thing. They have their phones up, videotaping stuff they shouldn't be videotaping, and there wasn't that much tourists there at that time. Imagine when it's fully open and there's tourists everywhere doing this kind of stuff, and what kind of tensions that's going to raise for people, because people are already on edge there, kind of mentally, and they're just not ready for this kind of stuff. They still need a lot of help every day from people, from donations. Even though things are a little bit more organized now than they were for the first couple weeks, it's different every day there. Like, you never know how much help they're going to need in 4 days, in 5 days, in 2 weeks. A lot of conversations that I heard while I was unloading supplies and loading supplies, you can hear the people that stop by talking to other people around you, and a lot of the people that were displaced, a lot of their concerns were like, where am I going to be in October? Yeah, nobody had a plan for them. The state doesn't have a plan for them. They have no information coming in. Some of these people had like 11 people in one hotel room, 13 people in a hotel room. They've been to like 4 or 5 different places already. So the things that I got out of that from the people there is that there's really no trust in the plan for the people. It seems like they got a plan for tourism, but they don't have a plan for the people. Yeah, like, where are all these people going? How are they going to be taken care of? How is the keiki going to be taken care of? The schooling. I heard they're trying to open up Lahaina Luna school soon. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd heard that, and I had went up to the school one day, and it was shut down, but I was able to go up there, just with one of the people that graduated from Lahaina Luna. They let us through, and it's going to be hard for, like, if my child was going there, and because that thing overlooks the whole devastation area, and that's hard to look at. Yeah, if I'm a keiki, it's just in my personal opinion. So I don't know if that has been talked about yet, but I didn't hear one person that is from Maui, whether they're local or Kanaka, that is ready to bring things back to how it was with tourism. Not even close. I did actually have someone I work with. I told you guys this story, but he had been asking me the last couple of weeks, the last couple of weeks, about, because he had already had a vacation planned in Maui, and it was in Lahaina area, and I guess this place was one of the places that's still open. And he asked me he asked me like 4 weeks ago if I thought he should cancel it, and I told him, oh yeah, 100% cancel it. Like, you should not go down there right now. Apparently he tried. The owner of the Airbnb said, oh, I guess his direction was, oh no, by the time October comes, it'll be all done, and like you'll be fine to travel there. So he wasn't willing to give him a refund or whatever. So he ended up going. I think he's there right now. I told him, hey, if you're gonna go down there, that's fine. Just stay out of that area as much as possible. If you're staying there, if you're gonna go out and do stuff around the area. I mean, around the other side of the island, Central Maui, or Wailea area. And then if you have time, like, donate stuff. If you're gonna go there, at least if you can donate time or donate stuff to hubs, that's always a help if you're there. But as far as like people being ready there, I haven't seen any indication that anyone that's from that side of the island is interested in opening anything right now, or if they're even ready mentally.
Aaron, I do want to ask you this question. I know we touched base on it. When it comes to when you donate your time and your energy, and when you were there, how was the receiving? I know we talked about it in the meeting on Tuesday, and we talked about it a little bit before we started, but I want you to, if it's okay with you, to share how just because you're there to help does not equal they're going to be like cheering and all of that. If you're okay with sharing that experience, I think that'll be something that people need to hear.
Yeah, I think it's comes down to like, what's your intention when you go there, and that's what it comes down to. When you talk about ho'akamana, it's called to strike with intention. Yeah, so what's your intention? Did you go there because it's popular to go there right now and help and be on put out one reel, or are you going there because the people really need your help? Yeah. And I think the people down there, they can see through that. Like, are you someone that's gonna go there and you constantly working, asking what needs to be done, or are you someone that's over there just like videotaping stuff half the time and then helping half the time? Yeah, just for like put something out on social media. And I'm not saying that social media is a bad thing, because there's a lot of good things that come with social media. Yeah, there's a lot of like kahiyas go out. Like I that's how I chose my time to go, was based off of the things that I saw that was going on from people on the ground there, because you're not seeing that on the news, the stuff that the people putting out there. But like I said, like, are you just there because it's popular to be there, or are you there because you genuinely want to help people? And I think people can see through that if you're one of those people that are just there to say I was there. But my thing is always like, if you're gonna koku with someone, you want to help someone, that you shouldn't expect nothing in return. Yeah, because to me, that's aloha. Yeah, when you help and you don't ask questions, you just help. And it makes me kind of emotional, because I've seen the people over there. Huh? They need help. And it's hard for just get other people to understand that. And it's like you don't understand the feeling. Like you can feel sadness. And it kind of just makes me even just thinking about it, trying to talk about it is hard. And that's what kind of makes me want to go back, like as much as I can, because I know I want to give the people I met there, like they don't have anything to look forward to right now. Like they don't know what tomorrow is. So like also like it's important, like if you meet people that were involved in that, and because there's a lot of people at the hubs that like their therapy is staying busy every day, like at a hub. Yeah, one of the guys I was with every day, like him, Uncle John, he lost his place. They lost everything, but they're there every single day. And I was only there 3 days, and it was rough for me, even for me. And to think these people have been there since October 8th. They've been there, you know, and then who knows how long this thing could go on for years, like this. Yeah. And look, the state or the representatives don't even have a plan for them for like a month. They have a plan for like to October, and then nobody knows what's gonna happen after that. So, yeah, I would just say like your intentions. Like what is your intention when you go in? If you don't have the proper intentions, then don't go. Yeah. And if you do go, maybe you gotta wait until you do have the proper intentions and then go. And if you do go with aloha and leave your negative energy back at home, because there's already plenty negative energy there that people trying to release every day. Yeah. And
Would
yeah.
you also say that, sorry, would you also say that, you know, if you are going to go and volunteer your time to spend to work at the hubs to help in some kind of way, to, you know, to touch base on what Kanoi had said in the podcast we did with her, to make sure it's not about you, like let them share their stories. You can let them know that, you know, I have shared experience, but don't take over the conversation. Really just let them release and allow them to actually know that they're heard. Would you say that that's
Oh,
definitely
100%. Yeah. Like they say, ho'olohe kapepeao, yeah. You just close your mouth and you listen. That's pretty much what I did the entire time I was there. I was working and just listening. There's no need for you to speak or to compare anything, because most people have nothing in comparison to what's going on over there. Yeah. And when you try to compare or like maybe bring up a similar story, it doesn't help. So just listen. Let them speak. That's part of them releasing some of that negative energy, I think. Yeah. And they do. They actually do. I had asked one of the guys that I was with over there, who he's at the hub every day. And I had asked him just today, just to find out. I shot him a text, yeah, and that's another thing, is to like keep in touch with these people. Yeah, if you meet people, because like I said, they don't have a lot to look forward to, but they love when people come and help. Like genuine people want to help, and then they're kind of sad when you leave. So if you give them, like if you're someone that can come back every so often, like I told them I was coming back in October and I'll see them again now. And then I've been keeping in touch with them, shooting them texts every now and then, at least once a week. Usually when I'm at the halal, I'll shoot them my texts and say I'm thinking about them, how they doing mentally, and just they give me an update and say like, you know, they're looking forward to seeing me in October. So just giving them like just small kind of things to look forward to. But yeah, I kind of forgot what they what was. Can you point me back to what we was talking about? Just before that.
We were just
Yeah,
talking
my mind
about,
go all over the place. Sorry.
hey, that's how this works. So no, it was just about, you know, when you go there, you're listening, you're not trying to compare stories. You
Oh
can
yeah.
talk with like, hey, I've been through something similar, but I don't have the full capacity. Like, you know, being very transparent and really have that integrity of,
Yeah.
I'm not here to showcase I'm helping you. I'm here so you know that you have someone that
Yeah.
cares,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's what they. Yeah, that's exactly what they need. They need to know that people are not forgetting about them, because it's, you know, as time goes on, some of these people might feel like they're being forgotten. Yeah. So to have people coming in and listening to them, and then encouraging others to come in too, is going to be a big help for them. And then also, like, you got to think about, like, if you come down there, like, try not to take up resources while you're there, because there's not a lot. Yeah. One, the stores over there, there's only a few. Yeah, on that side. So if you're gonna come down there, stay on Auntie or something. Like me, I just didn't stay in my car. Like I got off the airplane. Like, I could have stayed with my auntie in Kahului, but I didn't want to drive back and forth. Yeah, because like you working, like you helping all day. So by the time nighttime come, you like, are you ready for go sleep already? So I just literally got off the plane. I was in Central Maui, Kahului area, and then I got supplies there, so I didn't take away from supplies from the west side. Rented one car. I just literally just slept in the car, like on a futon in the back, and that's fine for me, because I don't know, I'm from Lahaina. Like, if you're from countryside over there, you can get away with anything or get by with anything. So yeah, and there's people. I'm sure there's people that wasn't lucky enough to even get help in a hotel room or a place that's doing the same thing. So you kind of say that there's not other people around there doing the same thing that were displaced, because I'm sure there's people living out of their car. I've heard there's plenty of people. But yeah, just don't take away from the resources there as much as you can. If you can limit where you buy your supplies, and then also, like, there's not a lot of, all the displaced people are there. So if you're trying to find a place to stay, maybe try to think about where you're staying, or get that situated so you're not taken away from the people over there.
Thank you, Aaron. That was a big, huge testimony. And seriously, thank you so much for sharing that, because, you know, not a lot of people know what's really happening. And like you said, the news isn't keeping up with what's actually happening. They're only showing what they're told to show, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and just to add on to it, Moana did mention about, you know, if you can bring your own resources, you know, instead of taking from what's there, because it is limited. And, you know, especially if you're not from there. I know that we have another Tita within the Hoakamana community. Like I said, she lives right outside of Lahaina area, and she even lets it be known. She's like, you know, I'm even considered an outsider, and I'm on the same island. And so, you know, there's a lot of intention, like you mentioned, Aaron, that has to go into everything that anyone that wasn't in their experience, like Pa'ahi said, if we weren't living it with them, it's so hard to speak for them. But we want to make sure that they are heard and that they know we're going to keep going for them, you know, with them
Yeah.
and behind them, to stand, you know, to encourage. And, you know, if we have to lay our backs down and let them have something to stand on, then we'll do that with them too. So, you
And
know, what you did was so appreciated, I'm sure.
I was gonna say one more thing is, if you go down there, don't assume that you're, you know, that you're gonna get fed and all this stuff just just kind of go down there with the mindset that you taking care of yourself and you're not expecting anything from there. Because when I went there, like I had already like bought food for the entire time I was gonna stay before I even went down there. And they at least at the Honokowai hub, they did have lunch, they did have dinner. They did offer it to me, but because I had already had stuff, like I never took anything from them as far as water or food. So just know where you're going, and don't assume that or expect that you're supposed to get this or that if you go to help. Like you shouldn't expect anything in return. And that's how I went down there, and that's how I recommend everybody that's an outsider, not from Maui, come down there with that kind of mindset.
Yeah, I think that's important, and something that would be easy for people to not like be mindful of. It's like every little thing in this particular situation, like everything, every little bit is needed for those who are there. So yeah, mahalo, Erin. That is so beautiful. I mean, not beautiful what's going on, obviously, but just like the intention that you went in with, and like the impact that you were able to have. I think that is wonderful. Particularly about like not flipping it and making the conversation about you, and just really listening. Because like even myself, I could see like where I'd be like trying to relate to someone, like having been through, like, for example, Hurricane Iniki, which was like devastating on my island, which it was, but like this one is just totally different. It's like the scale of this is crazy. Like if you look at the pictures, it's like a war zone. The kids, the keiki, and talking about the families, like so many people in a house. I remember seeing one story where they had like 25 people. And like every time I talk story people over here, like they don't even understand multi-family, even like, I don't know, 6, 7. They're like, what is that? You know, like, I'm like, no, we have like literally multiple generations, like 4 generations, 5 generations. And a lot of the homes in Lahaina are homes that like go back to kingdom times, right? So this is like really, really multi-generational. So it's just like we talk about grief, but this is like multi-generational grief. Like it's not even just the you know what's happening right now. It's just like, wow, this is your identity, like your being for your entire family. And like Pawahi was saying, like you can get the material stuff back, but that connection, that pilina, that, you know, back to the piko, that part is like, oof. Especially if you understand like the historical context of Lahaina being the seat of the first the Hawaiian kingdom at the start. That's the other big thing. And I don't think it's lost on those who are looking at this. You know, people have bad intentions, and there are probably people that celebrate this. You know, like, oh, this is great. Like, yeah, I'm just like, just super pilau, super heva. Like, I don't need, those people need to just go away. But yeah, I do want to balance it though, and just like mahalo, like the heroes that are helping, you know, the first responders, all of the nonprofits. I mean, I know like they have got to be tired. Like some ones like Maui Medics, Maui Rapid Response, like some of these people have been going like since day one. And all of the resources has come from the community. It's definitely not coming from FEMA. It's not coming from Red Cross. Are they there? Yes. But from everything that I've been watching on social media, like those places are the most disorganized mess. Nobody knows what the heck is going on. And it doesn't surprise me, because if you don't come from the community, you don't understand how we operate and just the natural way in which we flow together. So, I do want to, first of all, mahalo Kanoe for like bringing all of us together as our leader of Wakamana. Um, and then I wanted to get your guys' sense too, like who is like your kind of hero that you've seen, whether like through relationships that you already have or through like the things that you've seen on news or social media. For me personally, I kind of found her a little bit later, like weeks into the thing, but I really love following Kanani Adolfo. She has been helping that community, I think, in Kilauea Mauka area. And she's been bringing food and supplies into this particular community that was essentially forgotten. Lots of kupuna, lots of elders in the community, and they are located like right at the end of the burn zone. And so they've been there the entire time. And she's just been really like malamaing them and putting the kahea out, and her ohana is so beautiful, like seeing the keiki and just seeing like what they're learning as well, throughout all of this, how to be better leaders and continue to support our people too. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. And so if we could go around and just give some mahalo to the community leaders that we see, the people who are helping and really acknowledging all of the time and energy that they're sharing so selflessly. Pauahi.
Yeah, so mine is personal. And see, this is where I'm going to get choked up. But I just wanted to go back real quick to Aaron and like the grief, right? And I think people don't hear, they don't see the tears, right? They don't hear our tears, they don't see the tears. And when Aaron was choking up, it was making me teary-eyed, right? Because it's one thing to hear us cry, right, as Wahine. But when our kane cry, that's deep, So mahalo to Aaron for just being transparent and, putting your emotions out there and just having so much ike in what you were saying, and sharing that with us. And yeah, so mahalo for that. But so for me, mine is personal. Noelani Ahia. Many probably know her as the alakai for the Maui medics, who is she's also a Mauna medic. And yeah, just all of the work that is being done for the keheas that come out, for the Maui medics, from Lomi massages, mental health practitioners, nurses, first responders, like whatever the Maui medics need, it comes out through there. And I know Noi has been super, super busy, doing different like podcasts and stuff like that, or wherever she's needed. I think globally, it's not just, for Turtle Island. So yeah, that is one of my main heroes. And then there's a younger Kanaka who is from the area, and I can't remember his name, but was one of the first reels that I saw. I think, Moana, you might have been talking about the same guy, real handsome with the wavy hair. I want to say his name is like Kaele or something like that. But yeah, definitely him. He's always on the reels, just kind of giving everybody an update. So yeah, I want to, lift that Kanaka up for us while we're thinking about all of those heroes and many of the unnamed heroes, right? Those of us who only see the ones that like we see as heroes that are on the reels or speaking out. There's so many that are just not even named because maybe they don't want to be in the limelight, maybe they don't want to be on social media. Maybe they don't want to take, space up for somebody else who actually wants the space. So yeah, all of those people, and all the people of Maui just standing together.
So I'm just gonna snowball right off of Pauahi, because really, when it comes to who are the heroes are the people that showed up without being told. The heroes are the ones that didn't care to videotape their contributions. They're the ones that literally drove their boats and got in the water fully clothed, not caring a world, and started loading things onto the island and figured out a way to get things there. People that instantly, is the day it was still going on, before Lahaina could even process like this is real life, people were already setting up boom 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 on otter islands, and they're just like, we're getting this shipped, we're gonna get it taken care of. Those are heroes to me, whether it be even my own ohana that did a drive on Oahu, or any one of our ohanas, or anyone that we knew, neighbors, whoever, it doesn't matter, we're all one. And just seeing the community come together, and just as Pa'i said, when our kane are showing their emotions like that, that truly and deeply, I feel like it just makes us that much stronger. And it really goes to show that it's in our kanaka maoli. Like, it's just us. That's how our culture is. And being able to showcase that, being able to do it so fluidly and authentically. It's not, nobody was faking it. Nobody who actually goes there with the heart like Aaron did. It's not for show. It's not to promote. It's not to, do anything outside of that. I do follow his panhandle on Instagram is Son of Oahu. And then I do follow the BKR vlogs. Those two, they are very stern on how they feel. They're very up to date. They stay very much in contact. Both of them have been on the ground as well. And they're trying to utilize their platforms to allow the voice for those who don't want to come on there. There's a lot of people who, I know that the local, I think it was the meteorologist, didn't she live just right above Lahaina town? Malika Dooley, I think, Dudley. I can't remember her last name. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. But I know that she was one of the ones that was able to evacuate, and then her house was covered in ash, but they were okay to return home. And I just remember watching her videos and whatnot, because I think they all ended up sick, and she had just had a baby. And I know that I've seen other reels where this woman was vouching like, this is my granddaughter, and she was born literally less than a week before the Lahaina fires, and she's lived in like all these different places. Have you ever lived in that many places in 2 months of your lifetime? And it's just, those are my heroes. I feel like every single one of them who are grabbing one another, holding one another, and being strong. Aaron, not just you, because yes, you are a hero to me, not just for the work you do, but for the work you have done. And even the souls that you worked with in those hubs, those are heroes to me, because those are the ones that nobody really talks about until somebody else talks about them, because in our Kanaka way, not a lot of what we do is to be showy. It's not to be glamorous. We do it out of heart. That's the aloha. It's our heart, our souls. And so, yeah, I can go on and on, but all of them are my heroes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the community leaders that are down there. One, I'm gonna say John Kinamaka, and then the other brother I was with while I was there was Kamanao Io Gomez, I think his name is, or Gomes. Those are my two guys that I would say I look up to, as far as they're in the community. They're making things happen every single day. You probably don't ever see them on very many reels or whatever on social media, but regardless of that, they're there every day. Uncle John, I remember he's constantly doing stuff. When people was coming through, they're like, "Oh, uncle, I seen your post, so we came through," and then they would basically talk about whatever problems they had going on, and he would try and find them solutions. He was calling people. A lot of them was with housing. So a lot of them like, hey, uncle, I don't know where I'm gonna be like on Tuesday, and he go make a call for somebody. He's telling people, if you have no place to go, don't leave your hotel rooms. Make it hard for them. If they're gonna force you out of there, make them force you out of there. But in the meantime, they're also coming up with plans. As Kanaka, like all these leaders, all these po'o of these hubs, have been getting together, especially recently, because a lot of people don't know what's going to go on in the next few days. Trying to plan for, like, they're not waiting on the state. They're trying to just do everything on their own. And I know, like, one plan was to, they'd already started building stuff in the Pili. They have construction guys out there building smaller homes, as much as they can, as fast as they can, and to put on crown lands for these families to go, if that's like their only option now. So guys like that are doing these things and trying to come up with solutions every single day for our own people, is the kind of people that I would say I look up to, that really don't get the big credit or is not on the social media every day, or posts going out. Like, you might not see them as often, but they're in the thick of it, and they're doing stuff every single day for people in the community, and trying to hook people up with things to do, like even volunteers like myself. Like, when I came in, I asked him, he had told me about the Lahaina Luna football team. I didn't even know they was playing this year, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're playing." He's like, "You want to go to their practice?" And he called the coach right there, and he was like, "Yeah, you can go down tomorrow. I'll take you down there." Took me down to Kihei. I got to awesome chance to talk to the boys and tell them how proud I was that they still wanted to play. Yeah, and how much of a like how that motivated me. Yeah, because that was an inspiration to me, that they went through all this stuff, and they still want to play football. They still want to represent their community. And I told them how awesome that is going to be for their community to see and to have. That's a big thing to look up to. I'm from Kaugu. Like, our community is huge on football, and if something like that ever happened, like, that would be a huge thing to look up to. So for them to give that back to their community is, I thought was awesome. And then on top of that, that was my mom. That's my mom right here. So I think that's kind of where I get a little bit soft heart from my mom now, because she was that person that always gave to the community. The community. Yeah, she loved making flowers, and she had her own. She actually opened her shop when I was a kid. It was just in our front yard, and she would make arrangements for people, and do stuff for the community, as far as like making arrangements for birthday parties and stuff. And she was always so giving. She always wanted to give back to people, and she would never make any money, because she would always either sell it at cost or just give stuff to people. And I used to always be like, "Mom," I was like, "Mommy, you're not gonna make no money if you just keep giving away stuff for free." Yeah, but that's how she was. And she's obviously she's one of my heroes, and that's, I know she would want me to do this kind of stuff. So that's why I am the kind of person I am, and that I'm into doing this kind of stuff. Like I usually, if I see people need help, I just show up. Like people don't even know me. Like on Big Island, I showed up to a couple of things that people put kayas out to, and nobody really knows me on Big Island now. And I show up for these things, and they're like, "Who's this guy?" And then I always just say, "Oh, just Aaron from Lahaina." That's how they know me as. They're like, "Oh, who's that guy?" "Oh, it's Aaron from Lahaina." And yeah. So that day I talked to the boys, I even told them, I said, I know my mom would want me to be here doing this with you guys because that was her birthday. That day I was there. So I just knew that was like I was supposed to be there that day. I was meant to be there doing that. So just wanted to share that.
Mahalo, brother. Your mom raised a wonderful son. I can definitely relate to that. My mom and dad were very, very giving too. I mean, again, it's part of being Kanaka. It's just taking care of the entire communities. It's very kako, all of us, not just the individualistic perspective. Because we cannot survive by ourselves as much as we want to think about it. That our society would have us, Western society would have us think that we cannot. So mahalo to everybody who continues to perpetuate that aspect of our culture, because it is important. And as we've seen, throughout all of these the fires, and even way before the fires, it's always our community that shows up first. We don't ask questions; we just go and we do, because that's who we are. So mahalo again for being open and sharing your mommy's story. It's so hard when we lose them, but they're still here, living through us and our legacy and the things that we continue to do today. Okay, so we definitely gotta close up because gotta go to the next episode. But before we do that, though, Jazzy, can you talk about as we've been mentioning throughout this episode and at the beginning, our Hoakamane, which is the nonprofit that we're working with, is still in need of items and things to support our efforts for these families, again, because the drive of this particular organization is anticipating these needs, right? Like the mental health needs, the things that people don't really think about, the crisis counseling, the trauma, helping people get through the shock and the anxiety, providing for the physical needs, but also the mental things to help people hopefully keep them away from the dark side so that they don't fall into the realities of the suicides that do happen. So, Jazzy, can you talk about what the fundings that are being donated, what you're helping us to do for these families?
Yes. So with being able to be with Hoakamana, and even though, my part in a lot of this is a creative director, I do want to touch base on how people can help. If you are able to physically get there, as Aaron had mentioned before, that's the best blueprint that anybody can follow. Go with your own resources, go with complete intention of actually being there to kokua, not for yourself, but for the community, and to truly invest in being there to help the other Kanaka that is with you. But if you are unable to physically be there, as even just myself, it's really difficult because of just where I am and just my ohana life. There is a way to donate through the Hoakamana organization. Like Moana had mentioned before, this is a legit Native Hawaiian nonprofit. All of us do all of our work, including our fearless leader, Kanoi, we don't do it with pay. We do it with aloha. And monetary donations is always the best and the quickest way to be able to donate to those that are in need, only because if we try to donate any more physical items, we have learned through our process over the last 2 months that donating physical items, it takes a lot longer. There's a lot more stipulations that goes on. We have to make sure we have a shipping point. We have, a receiving point. We have to make sure that all of the dots are connecting. So monetary is, although, we understand the economy, the monetary is the easiest way to get it and the fastest way to get it to help the people that are in need. These monetary contributions will go towards the things that are necessary as of right now, which these things change sometimes weekly, daily, hourly. It really just depends on what the needs are. Currently, the needs are suitcases with wheels, so people have something to put what they do have in. Containers, clothes racks, shelves, lela aloha, which is Hawaiian clothing, portable AC units, the air filters, purifiers, hydro flasks, so that way we can keep the opala, the trash, down at a minimum. The disposable water bottles, they can get to the point where they are being more of a nuisance of trash, but of course, it's necessary, so everyone's doing what they can. Hydro flask can give somebody something more personal, at the same time something that they can keep reusing to refill. Feminine products, those type of things don't just stop. It also goes towards lava lavas, board games, gas for generators. And yes, we even do have gift cards, because, these families do deserve to try to go do something outside of their reality, whether it's watch a movie, if we have Walmart, Amazon, Target, and for the movie theaters there, and those are really just so that the families can be able to get what they need, and at the same time be able to get something that can also help their mental health and their spiritual health. Ho'akamana is there on the ground. They are definitely, our ohana, I call it our Ho'akamana ohana. They are on the ground. They are doing everything they can physically, the pu'olos and all of the things. And just sometimes people need to be able to ground themselves, to be able to remember that going to the beach is supposed to be something that is relaxing and where you can breathe. You can let the ocean take away what you can't carry anymore. And it's just, donating in any kind of way that you can. And if monetary is not something that you can, like Moana said, share the information, share how you can donate. You never know who you're going to reach. Mention it to your boss, mention it to a coworker, post it on your social media. You just never know what hearts can be touched just by sharing. So mahalo to everybody that has and is and will continue to put in their time, their effort, and their energy, and keep showing Maui that we will malama them always.
Absolutely, mahalo. So, yes, if you look below in the banner, hoakamana.org is the website where you can make a monetary donation. And as we said, please share. If you would like to see some of the impact of the donations, you can go follow at Hoakamana on Instagram. And in the pockets of very limited time that our volunteers have, we are trying to share some of the efforts, just so people can see that this is an organization of integrity, and that we are delivering on the words and the kahea that we are putting out to everyone. So mahalo to everybody for their generosity, for continuing to be a part of this conversation. And just for our Maui Ohana community, like, so much aloha to all of you guys. I know I speak for everybody on this stream that we wish we could be there with you more often, more closely. But we will, we are doing as much as we can. I was actually supposed to be there next week, but with all of the government potential shutdown that never actually happened, they ended up canceling the trip. But I'm hoping to get back there in late November, early December, so I can, at least try to help for my part too, because I do have ohana and friends as well. So checking in on them would be great, and obviously giving my time where I can to the rest of the community. Okay, everybody. Well, it's been a great conversation. Mahalo. I'm sure we're gonna do more updates, because as we mentioned, this is a years effort, and we just want to continue to show our presence and our support. So mahalo to all of our guests. I love you guys. For those watching, mahalo for joining us. Please share this video, follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram at Moana Nui Podcast. And you can join us. Check out our other shows. We have another one coming up at 8:30 for the Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Alliance, learning what that organization is doing here on the continent. So mahalo nui, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho e malama.
Malama.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand. Yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.